Hey everyone, and welcome to another Deep Dive. Today we're all about smarter, not harder workouts, especially as we hit that 50 and over mark, right?
Absolutely.
We're diving deep into an article that really calls out those exercise habits that honestly might be doing us more harm than good.
Yeah, this is right up my alley. I could talk about this stuff
Mm.
all day. The science of aging and exercise, it's fascinating how our bodies change and what we can do to, stay ahead of the game.
I am here for it, especially because this article doesn't just give us the don'ts, it's also got a ton of great alternatives to try. So no more excuses.
Exactly. Yeah, making informed choices.
Absolutely. So first up is something I'm definitely guilty of. Skipping the warm-up. You know those days when you're short on time and think, I'll just jump right in?
Yeah.
Well, the article calls that doing our bodies a disservice. Okay, maybe a tad dramatic, but
No, I don't think so.
makes you think, right?
Yeah. Warming up is so important. It's like speaking your body's language. You know, as we age, our muscles, well, they lose some of their natural elasticity, flexibility, that's the sciencey term, right? And our blood circulation, it might not be as zippy as it used to be. So picture this. You're asking your body to go from 0 to 60 without any warning.
Ouch.
Yeah. Recipe for strains, sprains, or worse.
So what's the smarter way to approach it then?
Think of it this way. You wouldn't run a marathon without stretching first, right?
Yeah.
Dynamic stretches. Those are key. Arm circles, leg swings, anything that gets those joints moving, gets the blood flowing, maybe a light jog to get the heart rate up.
Yeah.
It's about prepping your body for what's to come.
Priming the engine, not just slamming on the gas.
Exactly.
And that actually leads perfectly into the next habit, going too hard on those high-impact exercises. And to be clear, they're not saying ditch them entirely, but be mindful, especially as we get older. Makes sense, right?
Right, because high impact, those activities like running or burpees, the
Yeah.
ones, they put a lot of stress on our joints.
Yeah.
And our bodies are amazing. They're resilient, but years of wear and tear, maybe a little arthritis creeping in,
It happens.
those high impact moves can backfire.
Yeah.
You're putting stress on the cartilage in our joints, and as we age, that cartilage, well, it's not as thick as it used to be.
So those high-impact moves become more of a risk than a reward at some point.
Unfortunately, sometimes, yeah.
So what are some good alternatives? Asking for a friend.
Oh, there are so many. And this is what gets exciting, right? Swimming, for example.
Okay.
Swimming is like a full body rejuvenation. It's fantastic for your cardiovascular health, builds strength, endurance, and it's incredibly gentle on the joints.
You had me at gentle on the joints.
Right.
What else?
Cycling is another great one, whether it's outdoors or in a spin class. And if you're looking for something that kind of mimics that running motion without the impact, the elliptical is your new best friend.
See, this is what I love. Great alternatives that don't feel like a compromise at all. Speaking of pushing too hard, that brings us to overtraining. Some might call it dedication, but is there such a thing as too much of a good thing when it comes to working out?
There definitely is.
Hmm.
It's all about finding that sweet spot, right? Challenging your body, but allowing it to recover.
Right.
And that recovery becomes even more crucial as we age.
Mm-hmm.
When we exercise, we're actually creating these tiny micro tears in our muscle fiber.
Wait, Karis, that doesn't sound good.
No, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
These micro tears are what signal to our bodies to rebuild and repair, making those muscles stronger. But here's the catch. That rebuilding process, it happens during rest.
Oh, okay.
So if you're constantly pushing yourself without adequate rest, you're actually hindering your progress and potentially even weakening your immune system.
So those rest days aren't just about lounging around. They're actually crucial for getting stronger.
Exactly. Think of it like giving your body the time and space to actually implement those upgrades.
Okay, I'm convinced. But sometimes rest can feel a little vague. What are some active recovery activities that keep us moving without, pushing too hard?
Yeah. So yoga is a fantastic option. Increases flexibility, strengthens muscles, promotes relaxation, a trifecta. Foam rolling, another great tool. Release muscle tension, improve mobility.
And it feels amazing. I always feel like a new person after a good foam rolling session. Okay, so we're warming up, we're embracing those low impact options, we're prioritizing rest. What's next? What other exercise habits should we be tossing out?
This one's huge, and I think it can really make or break our efforts as we age, and that's using proper form when we exercise.
Yes, so important. And I think this is where a lot of us, myself included, could be going wrong without even realizing it.
Huh.
It's not always easy to tell if you're doing something right, especially if you're newer to exercise or just haven't had anyone, check your form in a while.
Absolutely, you hit the nail on the head. We develop these little habits, subtle ways of moving that might seem okay in the moment, but over time, and especially as we get older, those little things can become big things. We're
Yeah.
talking extra stress on our joints, our spine, which can lead to pain, stiffness, even more serious issues down the road.
So what's the solution? Do we all need to hire, like, personal trainers?
hmm
Because as amazing as that sounds, it's not exactly budget-friendly for everyone.
I love that you bring that up because it doesn't have to be a huge financial commitment. Even just a few sessions with a certified trainer can be so valuable. They can look at your form, pinpoint any areas that need tweaking, and teach you the safest, most effective ways to move for your body. It's worth it. Trust me.
Yeah, consider it an investment in your long-term health and well-being.
Yep.
Okay, next up is a habit I think a lot of people, especially women, can relate to: avoiding weights. I'll
Yeah,
admit, the weight room can feel a little intimidating, like, where do I even begin?
I hear you, but here's the thing. Strength training, it's like the fountain of youth for our muscles and bones. Okay. And it becomes even more crucial as we age. Because you see, after about the age of 30, we naturally start to lose muscle mass and bone density.
Yeah, that's why they call it aging, right? But seriously, what can we do about it?
Lift those weights. And here's the amazing part. Strength training, not only does it help us maintain the muscle mass and bone density that we have, but it can actually help us rebuild it. Wow. We're talking stronger bones, less risk of osteoporosis, muscles that support our joints, improve our balance, even boost our metabolism. It's a game changer.
Okay, I'm starting to rethink my fear of the weight room now. But where do you even begin? The article mentioned something about compound movement.
Yes. Compound movements are like your secret weapon for efficient and effective strength training. These are exercises that work multiple muscle groups at once. You're getting more bang for your buck. Think squats, deadlifts, rows, lunges.
So instead of isolating one muscle group at a time, like with bicep curls or tricep extensions, we're aiming for these power moves that engage multiple muscle groups simultaneously.
You got it. And don't be afraid to start with lighter weights. Okay? Focus on that proper form we talked about. And as you get stronger, you can gradually increase the weight.
I love that. Working smarter, not necessarily harder. Okay, the next habit the article calls out is skipping mobility work. And I have to admit, I'm not even sure I fully understand what that means. Is it just stretching?
That's a great question. Stretching is definitely a part of it, but mobility is really about maintaining and even improving that full range of motion in your joints so you can move freely and comfortably. It's like being able to bend down to tie your shoes without grunting, get up off the floor after playing with your grandkids, reach for something on a high shelf without feeling that pinch in your shoulder, those kinds of things.
So it's not just about flexibility, it's about like functional movement in everyday life.
Exactly. And the best part is, incorporating mobility work into your routine doesn't have to be complicated. Yoga is fantastic for this, as is that foam rolling we talked about earlier. Even just taking a few minutes each day to move your joints through their full range of motion can make a huge difference.
It sounds like mobility is something we should be thinking about throughout the day, not just during our workouts.
You're exactly right. It's about being mindful of how you're moving or not moving throughout the day. Are you sitting at a desk for hours on end?
Yeah.
Get up and move around every hour, even if it's just for a few minutes. Those little bits of movement add up.
I love those small changes, big impact moments. Okay, we're on a roll here. What's the next habit we're ditching?
This one ties in nicely with our discussion about compound movements. It's focusing too much on isolation exercises.
Okay.
Now, there's a time and a place for isolation exercises, don't get me wrong, but for overall strength, functional fitness, efficiency, those compound movements, those should be your go-to.
So if we're short on time or just want to get the most out of our workouts, we should prioritize those multitasking exercises that work several muscle groups at once.
Got it. Precisely.
Yeah.
Maximizing your time and effort. And as we get older, that becomes even more important.
Now, this next one really surprised me because it's something we usually associate with, good health, especially as we age,
Right.
walking. But the article brings up a really good point, saying we might be missing out on some serious benefits and potentially even aggravating our joints if we're only ever walking on flat, stable surfaces.
Yeah, it's true.
So it's not enough to just get our steps in. It's about where and how we're taking those steps.
Exactly. Think about it. Our bodies were designed to adapt to different terrains. When we walk on uneven surfaces like trails, sand, or even just grass, we're engaging more muscles. We're challenging our balance, strengthening our ankles.
Which are all crucial for preventing falls, which is a major concern as we age.
Exactly. It's like giving your body a crash course in balance and coordination. which keeps you agile, keeps you sure-footed.
Makes sense.
Plus, walking on those softer surfaces can actually reduce the impact on your joints compared to, like, pounding the pavement all the time.
Yeah, it seems counterintuitive, but it makes sense when you think about how our bodies are absorbing that shock. So instead of sticking to the sidewalk or the treadmill, we should be seeking out those natural uneven surfaces whenever possible.
Exactly. Add variety, challenge your body in new ways.
It's true. It really makes you think about all those walks in the park, literally. Okay, we've covered so much, from warming up to embracing the uneven surfaces. But there's one last habit the article tackles, and I have a feeling it's something a lot of us are, well, guilty of at times.
Yeah, it happens to the best of us, right?
It does.
Life gets busy.
Life gets in the way. It's that skipping exercise altogether.
It is.
But, and I think you'll agree with me here, something is always better than nothing, right?
Absolutely. And this is where we shift our perspective a little bit, you know. It's not about punishing ourselves or feeling like we have to become gym rats. It's about finding ways to move our bodies that feel good,
Right.
that we can realistically fit into our lives, and that support our overall health and well-being.
Okay, so what does that look like, practically speaking? Give us some ideas.
Oh, it can be so simple. It can be as simple as taking a brisk walk during your lunch break,
Yeah.
opting for the stairs instead of the elevator,
Love that.
putting on some music and dancing around your living room.
I do that.
Even gardening, all that digging and weeding, that's a fantastic workout.
I love that. It's finding those pockets of movement in everyday life.
Yes, exactly.
Mm.
And if the thought of, like, traditional exercise, if that feels intimidating or inaccessible, there are so many other ways to move your body. Maybe it's trying a yoga class or going for a swim or exploring a new hiking trail.
It's about finding what sparks joy, makes you want to move. This has been fantastic. Such a great deep dive today. I feel like we've learned so much about making our workouts work harder for us, especially as we, reach our 50s and beyond.
And the best part is, it's not about like this huge overhaul of your life, right?
Mhm.
It's small, sustainable changes
Right.
that add up over time.
Exactly. It's about listening to your body, respecting those limits, and finding some joy in movement.
Yes. And remember, exercise, it's an investment.
It is.
It's an investment in your future self.
So true.
It's about staying active, independent, being able to fully enjoy all the things you love for years to come.
Yes, love that. Well, before we wrap things up, we want to leave you with something to think about, something to ponder. What's one small change you can make to your routine this week, based on what we talked about today?
Write it down, put it on your calendar, let's make it happen.
Yes. Until next time, keep those bodies moving, keep those minds engaged. We'll see you on the next deep dive.